Welcome to CYBERUK TV. I'm Ian McCormack, the Deputy Director for Government Cyber Resilience at the NCSC, and I'm joined here today by Mike Fell, the Executive Director of National Cyber Operations at NHS England. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
So perhaps if we can kick off, Mike, by just talking about the cybersecurity strategy for health moving through to 2030, which was published in March. Perhaps you talk us about what impact will that have on the sector and what can we expect?
Cybersecurity in health really is a patient safety issue, Ian. We talk to the importance of cyber, but in reality, the health and social care sector thrives and relies on patient safety and on the public rightly placing their trust in the data and the services that we deliver. So the cyber strategy for health and social care is really critical to that in establishing how it is that we are going to make a resilient sector by 2030, ultimately for delivering patient safety through cyber means.
Thanks. And the cyber strategy, it focuses around 5 key pillars. What are those 5 key pillars and how will they enable the strategy to help to build and maintain public trust in digital healthcare?
There's some really important parts of this strategy which continues good work that has been taking place throughout the last 5, 6, 7 years in the health sector. So firstly, we need to focus on the greatest risks and harms. And then secondly, we want to defend as one, a principle set out in the government cyber strategy. We can't do any of this without people and the right culture as well, and that's the third tenet of this strategy. We also need to think to the technology in this way. So the fourth pillar that we talk to is about secure design for the future, building things in a way that is secure by design and make sure that they are safe from the point they're set out. And lastly, whilst we're going to put significant efforts into making things safe, we need to prepare for when things do go wrong. So exemplary response and recovery is the last part of this.
Mike, you mentioned Defend as One as one of the key pillars of the strategy. What does that mean for a sector that's as complex as health?
The health sector is a complex one. And the strategy sets out to create a unified response in a decentralized sector. So defending as one, it doesn't mean defending once. For the NHS, for social care, for the range of organisations involved, we have an amazing insight through the fact that we have visibility across over 1.5 million devices. And any one of those devices could have anomalous activity on in one organisation. And by having that central visibility, it allows us to provide an immediate response to scale up and through the intelligence, through the information in one organisation, potentially on as one device, and then push that back out to protect over 1 million devices. So defence as one is a really kind of important principle with this central cybersecurity operations centre for healthcare that provides that central conduit to enable a real intelligence-led approach to it, to protect many on the basis of everybody contributing those parts.
That was brilliant, thank you. I mean, the current threat landscape is, as we know, is ever changing. What does the current threat landscape look like for health, Mike? And what's your main focus?
It's a complex threat landscape. When we rewind to 2017 and the WannaCry incident, that was really the start of significant investment in the health and care sector for cyber resilience. And the WannaCry incident was an untargeted, what we would consider now to be quite unsophisticated. It certainly didn't feel like it for my predecessors at the time, but that was the nature of it. When we fast forward now, we see a sector with potentially 80,000 suppliers in it, 140,000 organisations in the health and care sector. We see an NHS app that 3-4 years ago had about 1 million users that has 30 million users now. So the scale of things has increased and the threat has matured in parallel as we become more digitally enabled in the sector. Ransomware undoubtedly is the reasonable worst case scenario. There have been publicly disclosed ransomware incidents, certainly in the last 12 months, within the supply chain, and there are near misses within the NHS on a regular basis of that nature. But we can't let that ransomware threat distract us from the breadth of issues that are here. We, over the Christmas period, due to Putin's illegal war in Russia, saw groups associated with that, Killnet, publicly state that they were going to target health organisations, and we then saw denial of service attempts against health organisations. So we cannot trust the groups who say that they won't target health because of the unique nature of it. Similarly, we see the range of attempts to abuse the trust that people place. So my former life was within HMRC, which was one of the most fished brands in the world, and was successful in pushing that outside of the top 100. The sad result of that is that through the COVID and the increased use of the digital apps, the NHS brand has been targeted. So that's another threat that we need to be aware of.
Mike, thank you so much for taking us through a really important strategy for a critical sector that we all rely on. And thank you hugely for joining us today at CYBERUK TV.
Thank you for the opportunity.